The FBI got a secret order last summer to monitor the communications of Carter Page. At the time, Carter Page was an advisor to the presidential candidate Donald Trump. A government source confirms this with Fox News today after the Washington Post first reported this story. They say it was part of an investigation into possible links between Russia and the Trump campaign, and that the feds obtained the warrant after convincing a judge that there was probable cause to believe Carter Page was acting as an agent on behalf of Russia. As a candidate, Donald Trump once identified Carter Page as his foreign policy advisor. A White House official, as you might imagine, now says Page was not on a list of official advisors, wasn't paid, and never met with the president. That's what they tell us. The official also said Carter Page was an advisor for only a couple of months and on a limited basis. Page has denied any wrongdoing in his dealings with Russia or the Trump campaign. But think of this. The prosecutors were able to go to a federal judge, a FISA judge, behind closed doors, provide enough evidence to convince this judge that there is probable cause Carter Page was working with or on behalf of the Russian government. Our chief intelligence correspondent, Catherine Herridge, is live in Washington. I can't think of anything much more damning than this. Carter Page is denying it, though, right?
Well, that's the very question that we put to Carter Page this afternoon, and he said to us that if there was a surveillance order, he believed it was based on bad evidence. To get a surveillance warrant, the FBI has to have solid evidence. So how do you explain it?
Well, we shall see. Again, there was a tremendous amount of false evidence, and there was various reporting about where that false evidence may have come from, such as the dodgy dossier, which we've discussed previously. So we shall see how that all plays out.
Dodgy dossier is a reference to the dossier that was put together by that former British intelligence officer. Meantime, these court records allege that in 2013, Page passed energy records to a Russian intelligence operative. Page said those records were university lectures. Did the Russians try to recruit you?
The term recruit, I was never asked by Podobny or anyone else to do anything. We just were having a light conversation. I was never asked by anyone to do anything untoward or otherwise. Just sharing some thoughts between two people.
It's the second time that we have interviewed Carter Page on the record in the last month, and he has said pretty consistently that he believes he was singled out because he was a critic of the last administration and because he had extremely deep ties to the Russians, which is now pretty self-evident based on that 2013 FBI investigation, Shepard. This is just the beginning. Anything from Capitol Hill? Well, without commenting on the existence of a FISA warrant, the senior Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, and he is fully briefed on this case in a way that few other members are, said that the proceedings are moving ahead.
If the FBI director has said there is enough evidence that he is open investigations. I can't comment on specific investigations. I can't comment on the FISA warrant. But if a FISA warrant has been issued, it is a very, very, very serious matter. Because we're on recess, we haven't had anything on the record and on camera from the Republicans, but our colleagues over at .com are now reporting that both the House and Senate Intelligence Committee investigations into this issue of unmasking or identifying Americans in intelligence reports is now expanding. Shep. Catherine Herridge live with us. Catherine, thanks very much. President Trump meeting with the head of NATO, the alliance which candidate Trump criticized during the campaign. We'll get a live report from the White House, and we're expecting a news conference from both leaders at the top of the hour. First, the movie Manchester by the Sea won a couple of Academy Awards, but a prosecutor now says it may have helped inspire a couple to murder their child. It is a horrifying accusation, and the response is next. Also, President Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, there's big news. He's registering with the U.S. government